fight are one. The red fire blooms. They fight once more. Infinite pursuit. We split the thread of reality. We that fail.
Hi guys, this is Lulu again, and I came here to show you my final version of Stormweaver, which name is Triple Elemental Stormweaver. This is the upgraded version of previous video, so if you are just first to come, then I recommend you to view the first version first. No, now show again. I'll show again. First of all, I have to appreciate for support. I never expected that you give many likes and comments, and it makes me to work hard and make some effort to improve this build, but it was hard to improve my build. Before watching this video, I cleared 16 tiers with the previous build. If you have low budget, you can clear almost every content tier 1 to tier 15 with the previous builds. So you can do that, but the DPS with the boss was awful, so I have to improve my build. We need additional deal mechanism is needed, I think. There are some passive nodes which can give you 30 increased elemental damage if you feel chilled, shocked, and ignite. So if we shock, ignite, chill enemy at one time, we can get about 90% increased damage. But we use blue flame blasters. Blue flame blasters convert all fire damage to cold damage. Then if we use this glove, we can't ignite at every moment. So let's change the gloves. How to chill, ignite, and shock? We can ignite every time because we use fireball. Now it's fire only because we do not use some blue flame blasters and additional damage with the Archmage. We have to ignite by fireball, and we can chill enemies by frost wall. And by Archmage, we can shock every times when we do spells. So first of all, I think we have to improve our fireball. The first thing we can do is improve our qualities of fireball. By doing so, there will be plus 10% chance to fire 2 additional projectiles, so it can increase our damage. And I'm gonna show you some new ring which name is Snake Pit. Snake Pit is the unique ring, and it is about 15 exalted orbs to 1 divine. The effect of this ring is it can make the fiber fork without any penalty. When you use fork as a support gem, there are the penalty which give us 30% less damage. But if you use this link, we can fork firework without any penalty. So when the firework fork and then it explodes, we can get more DPS that is non-calculatable, but it upgrades our fireball. And also gem level is important. Snake Pit and new gem support. I use acceleration for the 5 slot, and it gives us an amount of damage we cannot calculate. So when we do just maps, just draw fireballs. If the monster is rare or tanky, then make frost wall in front of them and then just destroy. Then we can get fireball and frost wall damage, so we can beat every rare monsters. But when we meet both, it's not enough. So massive damage is necessary for both. So now I find a spell which names Writing Conduit. Wait a second. Yeah, we can use lightning conduit so we can get amount of damage by we can do the damage in lightning damage. As you can see, 100% more damage with hits per 5% shock effect on enemy. So if our shock effect is over about 130%, the damage is boosted by 2600% more damage. But there is a cast time at least 1 second, so cast time is a weakness for this spell. So we can use cast on shock. Cast on shock is a trigger and use spirits for 60. And the mechanism of this gem is when we shock enemies, we can get energy when you shock enemies. Then spell automatically spell when the energy is full. So the more we get energy, the more lightning conduit do, and we can beat our boss very easy. And another key for boss battle is curse. Conductivity is the curse that decreases lightning resistance to enemies. So curse, there are many curse passing nodes improves curse effects. So now we use weapon slot 2 for curse to improve our conductivity. So we will use many jewels with sapphire for shock. This more like increased magnitude of elements or increased magnitude of shock is to have an effect for shock, and for energy we have to choose the option which name is meta skills gain percent increase energy. And another support gem is overcharge. Overcharge is support gem which can increase shocks of magnitude. So when we meet boss, this is a tier 2 bleach boss. As you can see, we can ignite, chill, and conductivity, and 136% of shock. Then we can kill it very easy. Now gear time. Gears 1. First, weapon slot 1, we use 1. Before the video, we used two one, which one is lightning. Which one? Number 1 was fire, and number 2 was ice. But this build, in this build, we use just one and one step. So one slot number 1 spell every spell except conductivity. So the priorities of this spell, this one is at least 3 or 4 skill all spell skills and increase spell damage. Someone asked me that if I take not increase spell damage but increase fire or increase cold damage is preferred to this build, but he said but it is no, because we use every lightning, cold and fire damage, so increase only spell damage to every spell. So we have to take increased spell damage, and maximum mana region and cast speed is required if you are high budget. I bought it for 4 divine. In gears is focus. 2 level of all spell skill is mandatory, and increased spell damage. This is spell damage, not cold or not lightning and not fire. And max mana, yes, and resistance. I bought it for 2 divine. And weapon slot 2, we use conductivity. So I choose chiming step because chiming step give us one buff which name is Sigil of Power. So chiming step is required, and all writing skills 6 is enough for conductivity. And for curse very fast, we need increased cast speed, maximum mana. I bought it for 5 XRT or today. And armor priority is we need at least 60 spirits because we use arc base for 100 and 60 spirits for cast on shock, so we need at least 60 spirits and high ES at least 450 resistance. I voted for 6 divine. And gears are changed before the previous build we used blueprint replacers, but now we use just this globe. ES, mana, and resistance, 3 divine. Helmet is simple. Mana, ES, resistance. I voted for 10 divine. Amulet is the same as before. We use the everlasting gauge for ES, even we use EB. I voted 2 divine already. And belt, we can get mana, resistance, and champ slots. I recommend you at least we have 1 champ slots, because in this build we use at least 2 champs, 1 for stun and 1 for freeze. And rings, new ring unique. As I said before, Snake Pit give us fork effect. We use only left link slot, because when you use this link in right slot, then the projectiles do not fork and it chains. So I recommend you to use it left slot. I bought it for 15 extracted orb. And rings, another slot for rings is maximum mana, mana regen, cast speed, and resistance. I crafted this ring. Boosts are simple: movement speed, max mana, ES, and resistance. Jewels of 1 unique and 7 rare jewels. The first one is not mandatory, but if you want to follow exactly, you need this. Controlled metamorphosis. Medium large ring is necessary. If we put this jewel in the slot, we can allocate passive nodes without being connected, so we can save many passive points. -7 or elemental resistance is this penalty of this jewel, so we have to find good one. And because we use CI, the chaos resistance decrease is not important. I voted for 2 divine. And we need 7 sapphire jewels. It is hard to find, but cheer up. For shock, as I said before, we have to choose increased magnitude of elements or increased magnitude of shock. And for energy, we use meta skill gain % increased energy. And maximum ES and recover mana on kill is an option, but I recommend you at least 2% of recover mana on kill, and another are or maximum ES. Skills and links: Fireball, Wire Shards, Scatter Shot, Arcane Tempo, Control Destruction is same as before, and Acceleration is changed. And Phosphor, Ingenuity, Overcharge, Spell Cascade, Considered Casting. Cast on Shock in Lightning Conduit, Energy Retention, Impetus, Elemental Focus, Shock Shipment, or Inspiration. Conductivity for Heightened Curse, Magnified Effect, Focus Curse, and Sigil of Power, Persistence. Now I'll show you my passive node. I changed a lot, like this. As I said before, I want to maximize our curse effect very high, so I allocated many passives related to curse to weapon slot set 2, and for a weapon slot 1, I allocate many passive nodes for my spell. So like this, pure energy and ES nodes same as before, and this ES node, and from here shock effect for weapon slot 1, and this one for curse is weapon slot 2, and go up. And by doing this, it is only needed when we use spell, so weapon slot 1 is for these, and go up and go down for jewel slot, and here for curses, so I've allocated it with the weapon slot 2 and go EB and jewel slot. Curses node for weapon slot 2, same as before. And for curse duration, I allocated with this node with weapon slot 2. And as same before, projectiles for fireball, so I appointed it with weapon slot 1. And we use cast on shock, so I do this for weapon slot 1. And go down for jewel slot 1. And ES node, yes, and damage with resistance, so I allocated without any weapon slot or common weapon slot. And for this, to increase our magnitude of shock, I allocated with weapon slot 1 and jewel like this. And as I said before, we can allocate passive node without being connected with this. I slotted this controlled metamorphosis with medium large ring by here, so we can pick over exploder, sudden escalation. It is only for the first war and lightning conduit because we use controlled destruction for fireball. And this node, intense flames, we can hit 35% increased damage with hit against burning enemies. So when you throw fireball, the enemies get being hit by and burned, so it is useful for weapon slot 1. And these two nodes are for ES and ES recovery and mana, so I slotted with a common slot. Now my level is 92, and that's all I think. I'll show you how the snake pit works. Without snake pit, it just go and explode, as you can see. But when you use snake pit in left slot, then it falls like this. So we can gain more damage.